my professional page, my personal page, the Marshall Police Department web Facebook page, phone calls coming in all day dealing with the incident that occurred on Saturday. The incident that's in question is, of course, the hit and run accident that occurred Saturday morning at 1:19. The one thing I just want to point out and make very, very clear that I'm really offended and appalled by the people that are making comments that the Marshall Police Department partook or participated in any type of cover-up or conspiracy theory or giving any type of preferential treatment to the Miss Hansberry. I'm sorry, I call her Ashley, so that's what I know her by. That we at any time gave her any type of preferential treatment or did anything like that. That is absolutely false, and it does aggravate me, and it makes me very, very upset for people in the community to even think that this department would take part of anything like that. It is common. It is the common practice of this department to consult with the district attorney. That's exactly what we did during this incident. We consulted and made contact with the district attorney who directed us and how we should handle this case, and that's exactly what we did. I don't believe that there was any type of preferential treatment offered by anybody, whether it be from the district attorney's office. Now, I cannot speak for the district attorney, but I'm going to make that assumption. And for anybody that's out there posting any of these things that the Marshall Police Department would partake in any type of preferential treatment, regardless of anything, that is totally and absolutely false. The fact that when I arrived here approximately a year ago, I made it very clear that I was going to be very transparent and I was going to have a department that was very transparent, and I believe I've kept that word. There's not one thing that happens in this department that you all are not made aware of, whether it be good or bad. You know, we created the No Colors, No Labels initiative. It doesn't matter about your race, your social economic status, your sexual gender, anything like that does not matter. Nobody is above the law. We, again, kept it and followed our protocol, which is to consult with the district attorney, and that's exactly what we did. I'm going to go ahead and get off of this pedestal and talking about my transparency and stuff like that, but I'm going to go ahead and open this. The main purpose of that was to get you all out here so I could say that, is that the Marshall Police Department, myself, the officers that work here every night, work hard to gain the trust of the community. And that's what we've been doing every day. We go out there and we try to gain the trust of this community. And for us to just give it up just because of some person who is, you know, that the community thinks is affluent or deserves some kind of special treatment, I can assure you 100% that is not the case, and that there was no preferential treatment given to anybody. You know, and I probably normally would not be doing this. However, because of the, like I said, the time and age we live in, social media has just totally gone berserk. We have gotten so many phone calls and inquiries into this that I just wanted to set the record straight that there was no preferential treatment given to me. So at this time, I'll open the floor. If you all have any questions, I know there were some questions that were being brought in all day, so I'll be more than happy to answer them at this time.
Is there any scenario where you're in an accident situation where it is okay to leave the scene if maybe the driver does feel, because in this incident the suspect is alleging she felt frightened and she was covered in glass and she needed to leave. Is there any situation where it's okay to leave an accident scene?
I mean, you know, every scenario is going to be different. Whether she had a cell phone on her, I don't know if she had pulled over to a lit area, was there somewhere closer she could have gone? I can't answer those questions. I mean, that's a question that has to be answered by the individual that's going through that at that time. I mean, of course, if you were in the middle of the Baltimore riots and something like that happened, well, yeah, I mean, it would probably be appropriate to drive off and seek a better area to make that phone call. You know, one of the things that we do treat, you know, especially women, is that you know, if you ever feel scared of something, immediately go to a lit area, this and that. I don't know if that was the situation in this case, but my personal opinion is no. That's my personal opinion.
Yes, sir. There were some reports that there was possibly some calls made to dispatch before this incident happened concerning an intoxicated woman who was walking down that same street. Do you know if there's any truth to that?
Yeah, that is absolutely false. We've gone back. I don't know where that came from. They might have been calling a different police department, a different Marshall Police Department, a different state, because from what we look back at our tapes between the hours of 10 p.m. and the time of the accident called, there's not one report of any intoxicated person inside of the Marshall, much less in that area. So that is absolutely, totally false.
What about on Friday night?
Well, we started the recording at 10 p.m. Friday, 10 p.m. and it worked its way into early Saturday morning.
Press release says it happened in the roadway. It was in the roadway or the turn lane?
I believe it was in the turn lane. I believe it was in the turn lane when the vehicle turned in and veered into the highway. I'm assuming it was in the turn lane. I don't have the specifics on that, to be quite honest with you.
And why are these social media posters insinuating or alleging that preferential treatment is being given towards the suspect in the first place?
I have no idea. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I mean, as transparent as I have been, as transparent as this department has been, I mean, we blow our nose here and we let you guys know about it. We blew our nose big. Film at 12, so for somebody to take that stance, a lot of the things is that, we get the perception of the way law enforcement works by what we see on television. Some of these people were not at the scene. There's all these stories that are out there of what happened and how it happened. Well, unless you were there, you don't know how it happened, and you don't know why certain decisions were made. There's times when sometimes you got to make sure that you might have this clear picture, but you can't dot the I's or cross the T yet. And you got to step back and gather some more information before you do that. So, as I mentioned before, the district attorney did help guide us in this investigation, and by working together, those were the decisions that were made. So, to be quite honest with you, I think that this is probably the way we would have handled any other case. The only fact that it's getting so much attention is because of who the driver of the vehicle was. Yes, sir.
Just to kind of reiterate questions I had asked your department earlier, but I just kind of want to restate it. At any point during the incident, was anyone, either the pedestrian itself, when y'all had Ashley Edgar Dansby, had anyone been given or issued a blood test, a breathalyzer, or any other type of drug test on site to confirm if there was any involvement of alcohol or other type of drugs?
Right. As far as to my knowledge, no, sir. No. The victim, I don't know. I mean, the victim is the victim, and the driver. Well, like I said, we were not sure of who the driver was at the time. And like I said, law enforcement is very fluid. And unless you're actually in law enforcement and you understand what's going down and what each step is taking, the perception of something being not kosher might be there, but that is that did not, nobody was offered, nobody was given any type of test at this time. Yes, sir.
Do we have the victim's ID yet?
We have identified the victim. I personally do not make it a habit of releasing the victim's names or stuff like that. I don't really see any harm in us or any real reason as to why we would do that, the victim's name. But I really don't see any reason as to why we won't release it. I can release that. I don't know her name, to be quite honest with you right now, but we'd be more than happy to share that information. It's not, that's just me. I don't normally do that, but we can definitely do that. And yes, sir.
How long did it take for them to call 911?
From the time that the accident, you're talking about when we received the first 911 call. The accident happened at 119. I guess I'm not sure who called in. Some passerby, or I think it was the neighbors who called in. One of the neighbors called in. They heard some screaming. They looked out the window. I guess they saw somebody on the road, and they're the ones who called it in. So I'm probably a couple of minutes before it was called in.
And the call that was made from Mrs. Dansby's house, how long after that?
I believe it was somewhere about 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Being told it's 9 minutes from the time that it was made.
So the call was made at 1:28.
Specifically, I can't tell you it was exactly 1:28, 1:27.
9 minutes.
9 minutes is the best that I could do. Is from when we looked at the tapes.
Okay.
And like I I said, normally I would not do this. It's just very, you know, we're here in Marshall. We're trying to change a perception. And for those people who tell me that does not exist, it exists. It exists here in Marshall. And that's why we created No Colors, No Labels, and we're trying to change, you know, the perception that people have of law enforcement or of anybody in this community. And that's why it's very upsetting, because we just had a very big press conference and a big meeting last week, and for people to start insinuating that the Marshall Police Department is taking preferential treatment for anybody or doing any of that, case really upsets me, and it's very it's really upsetting to see these officers working really hard to do the job that they need, so somebody can just come around and smear them because they have nothing better to do and don't even know the true facts. Because I'm talking about the true facts, not what you heard, not what somebody told you, not what, you know, none of that. You know, unless you were at the scene and know everything that happened and why it happened the way it happened, you really shouldn't be making a comment on anything stating why it was done. You know. But with that, if there is no other questions, I guess I'll conclude this press conference and just say thank you for coming out, and I hope we've answered any unanswered questions. Anything else, guys? Anyone? No? Awesome. Thank you.